I am thinking a little bit about this time of year and what faith practices might look like if your faith looks different, right? Which is not, it's so normal for your faith to grow and evolve and change. Every generation has done this. This is, to me, what I consider to be really faithful work. I don't buy into 1 second the argument like, uh-oh, getting slippery over there. That's not how I see faith growth at all. I see that as someone taking their beliefs seriously and examining their own practices and biases and taking a good hard look at structures and if and where any injustice is kind of baked into the sauce, right? To me, this is the most faithful possible of all work. But when your faith shifts a little bit or takes on kind of a newer iteration, what about your faith practices? And, this is just a time of year that we have a lot of traditions that revolve around church or whatever. So my thought on this, first of all, is there's no room right now in this conversation for any sort of guilt. None. So if that's your first impulse, if your first impulse is to say to yourself, I'm doing something wrong, or this is somehow a betrayal of everything I was taught or was brought up to, that isn't useful and it isn't true. So that's step one. Step one is there's no room here and no need for guilt or shame or anything. Secondly, I think faith practices in general are meaningful in the broadest sense of the term. So, maybe some of your traditions aren't going to be under a steeple this year. Maybe you're not going to be in some of the church programming. December church program is a whole thing. That's okay. Because it turns out there is space and room to worship and connect with God and the birth story of Jesus and Advent everywhere. You can access it right in your own little home. And so the bigger question is, what helps me feel connected to just the sacred story? Maybe that's walking outside. That is a faith practice. Maybe it is hosting a beautiful dinner where your conversation is intentional and meaningful with the people around the table. Maybe it looks like the music that you listen to over the course of the month. It could be what you are reading, what you're listening to, who you're learning from. And so my suggestion is to go inward and feel around with a lot of intention and grace about where and how do you feel most connected to this beautiful, sacred story that we treasure together at this time of year. And so, so much love to you. And I'm thrilled for whatever that looks like for you. And I honor it. And I think it is valuable and meaningful. And so I'd love to hear it. You let me know what feels precious and sacred and holy to you at this time of year, and where and in whom and through what conversations. It's everywhere. And you can't become exempt from it. Okay? All right. Have a great day, you guys.